determine the mean and standard deviation of a normal distribution, label the normal curve, and use the empirical rule to answer the following. Okay, what does this mean? In parenthesis 120, comma 8 parenthesis.
That's the mean and the standard deviation.
Okay, so which one's the mean? And where does it go on the curve?
In the middle.
Right. And then the standard deviation tells you what?
How much to go up and down.
Correct. So like one standard deviation above the mean would be a score of 128. 2 above would be a score of 3 above would be 1 below would be 2 below would be and 3 below would be. Okay, then what else do you have to do to this curve? You have to do the percentages. What percent are these two sections? 34, 34. And remember, they add up to 68. How much percent are the next two sections?
2.5.
And then those four together add up to 95. And then what are the next two over? 2.35. And then those six sections total up to, right? Which is why the empirical rule is also known as the 68, 95, 99.7 rule. Correct, because 100% of the data is represented. Well, that's not quite 100, so if you split that, it'll be 0.15, 0.15. Now that you have it labeled, you can answer questions about it. What is the 68% range? 112 to 128. Okay? That's also known as one standard deviation above the mean and one below it. What is the 95% range? 104 to 136. And that's 2 standard deviations above and 2 below. Then the 99.7 range is 96 to what? Which is also known as 3 standard deviations below and above the mean. What percent of scores fall below a 136? 97.5%. Okay, let's talk about how we get that number. If you go to 136, which is right here, and you add up everything backwards, that would be 50, then 84, and then 84 plus 13.5 is 97.5. What percent is above 128? 16%. Because everything to the right of the 128 line adds up to 16. What percent is above 104? Everything except for these two, which add up to 2.5. So what's 100 minus 2.5? 97.5. What percent falls below 128? 84%, because that would be 50 from here over, but then from 128 is 34 more, so that's 84%. What percent is between 104 and 128? Well, it's right, 68 plus 13.5, which is what? Add it again. I got something different. 81.5, because it's 34 plus 34 plus 13.5. So 81.5. And then what percent is between 112 and 144? 112 and 144 would be from this line to this line. So 34 plus 34 plus 13.5 plus 2.35. Not quite. 83.85. If you add up 34, 34, 13.5, and 2.35, it's 83.85. Okay, now I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to try number 2 by yourself before we go over. All right. A, Marquise, what'd you get? You didn't do A? Kiara, what'd you get? No, not minus, it's 2. I know, but that's just a range. Like, all of that means 2. 54.6. Okay, B, Christian, what'd you get? Very good. I guess I should write 2 every time. Okay, C, Grant. Very good. D, Maddie. 2.5. You did the opposite way. Below 37.8 would be to the left of it, so 2.5%.
Okay, so how do you do that?
All right, how do you do this one? Well, 37.8 would have ended up being this line right here. And below that would have been all of this, which is 0.15 and 2.35, that adds up to 2.5%. Shh, be quiet. E. Edgar, what'd you get for E? Very good. I'm trying to hear people answer. You're being rude. F. Kylie. You didn't get that one? Okay, I'll come back to you. Ray, F. Nope, opposite way. Above 60.2. 60.2 is this line over here. So above it, oh yeah, and this was 37.8. I wrote that wrong. The point should have been right there. It would have been above it, which is that way, and that's only 2.5%. Shh. Some of y'all need to be quiet. Okay, Kylie, G. Well, for one, there was a problem with this one. It should have just says, we'll change it to falls below 43.4. So what would that be, anybody? 16%. Okay, H, Cameron. $81.5. And I, Kiara Watson.
Why you call her again?
I thought you were eager. 49.85%. Okay, turn to the next. The mean life of a certain brand of auto batteries is 44 months with a standard deviation of 3 months. Assume that the lives of all auto batteries of this brand have a normal distribution. Using the empirical rule, find the percentage of auto batteries of this brand that have a life of, and then you'll be answering A through E. But the first thing we have to do is what? Correct. Label the curve. So the mean is 44, so it goes in the middle. Okay, your mean always goes in the middle. Then your standard deviation for this one is 3. And it'll tell you what to add on the right side and what to subtract on the left. So 44 plus 3 is? 47 plus 3 is? And 50 plus 3 is? Okay? On the left, it would be minus 3, so 41. Correct. Then, in addition to labeling the mean and standard deviation, you also have to label the percentages. So what are these two? Right. What are the next two? Okay, so now that we have it labeled, we have all the information we need to answer the questions. Find the percentage of auto batteries of this brand that have a life of 41 to 47 months. 68%. Okay, because 41 is one standard deviation below, 47 is one above, and those two sections add up to 68. B, what percentage of these batteries will last between 38, which is 2 below the mean, and 50, 2 above the mean? Right? C, what percentage of them will last between 35 and 53? Right, because that's 3 standard deviations below, up to 3 above. How many of these will last longer than 50 months? 2.5%. And how many will last less than 41? 16%. 16%. Okay, go ahead and try the next section by yourself. Okay, the first thing you have to do is label your curve. The mean for this data was 21. The standard deviation was 1, so that's easy enough. Just add 1 to the right and subtract 1 to the left. And then label your percentages. The more you label them, the more likely you'll have them memorized for the quiz, because I will not be telling you them on the quiz. Okay, so they want to know what percent of these chicks will hatch in 19 to 23 days. So look, 19 days is right here, 23 days is right here. So you're adding up all sections between those lines. This one, this one, this one, and this one add up to what? 95%. Okay, so then for the next question, I'm going to try to slow down a little because I know some people are confused. Okay? The next one asks between 20 and 22 days. Well, wouldn't that be from this line to this line? And those two sections add up to what? 68%. Shh, guys, focus. Then the next section says 21 days or less. So that's from the middle backwards. How much data is there? 50%. That's half of the curve. Then the next one says in 18 to 24 days. 90 what? 99.7%. Because that goes from 3 standard deviations below to 3 above. And that always adds up to 99.7. That's part of the rule. Okay, if you're incubating 1,000 eggs, how many will hatch in 20 to 22 days? Right, because what percent, Anna, what percent will hatch in that time period? You got to pay attention. No, you weren't. In 20 to 22 days, that's from here to here, that's 68%. However, they don't want that as the answer. They want to know how many of the 1,000 will hatch, so what would you have to do? Well, you can do 0.68, which is 68%, times 1,000, and that'll let you know 680 of those eggs will hatch in that time period. Okay, now try the next one. Okay, number, whatever this is, it doesn't have a number. The mean for this data was 7.6 with a standard deviation of 0.4. So 1 standard deviation above the mean would have been 8. Then 2 above would have been 8.4. And then 3 above would have been 8.8. 1 below would have been a 7.2. 2 below is 6.8. And 3 below is 6.4. And then you just quickly put in the percentages. If you don't and you just try to do it without them, you're probably going to mess up. Even I write in the percentages every time so that I don't mess up. Okay, estimate the probability that the machine will overflow an 8-ounce cup. Well, here's an 8 ounce, so the chance that it would go over that would be 13.5 plus 2.35 plus 0.15, so 16%. Estimate the probability that will not overflow an 8-ounce cup. Right, just use your common sense. If there's a 16% chance that it will overflow it, that means there's an 84% chance it won't, because that adds up to 100. The machine was just loaded with 850 8-ounce cups. How many of these do we expect will overflow? 136, but let's talk about why. If there's 850 cups that were loaded, how many cups overflow? What percentage? So you would multiply that by 0.16, and that's how you get the 136 cups. Okay, turn to the next page. Sorry, it's y'all's fault that it's taking so long. We could have been done if y'all closed your mouth. Given an approximately normal distribution, what percentage of all values are less than 1 standard deviation from the mean? A better word than less than would be within. What percentage of the data is within 1 standard deviation of the mean? Think about it. 1 above is 34%, 1 below is 34%, so 68% of the data is within one standard deviation above the mean, or of the mean. 34 above it, 34 below it. These kind. Well, everything we've been doing. Okay, doing this one. What percentage of all values are within 2 standard deviations of the mean? Right? And then what percentage of values are within 3? 99.7. Yeah, the word less doesn't really help. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Given an approximately normal distribution with a mean of 175 and a standard deviation of 37, draw a normal curve, label it 1, 2, 3 standard deviations on both sides of the mean, and then answer these questions. Okay, so what would 1 standard deviation above the mean be? 2 above, 249, right? And 3 above, 286. 1 below would be 138. 2 below would be, and 3 below would be 64. Now go ahead and write in your percentages. You should start having this memorized by now. Okay, so now that it's labeled, what percent of these values are within 138 and 212? 68%. What percent of values are within 101 and 249? What percent of values are within 64 and 286? What percent of the values are outside 138 to 212? 32. Let's talk about this one because that was different. Outside of this would be this way and to the left, and then 212 and to the right. Outside would be everything but the 68. So 100 minus 68 is 32. Does that make sense? What percent of the values are outside of 101 and 249? 5%. And what percent of values are outside of 64 and 286? 0.30%. Okay, turn to the next page. Okay, next page. Given an approximately normal distribution with a mean of 121 and a standard deviation of 40, draw and label the curve, so go ahead and do that. Y'all have a pink sheet for this unit? You do? Okay, well then this will be homework. I'll look at it tomorrow.
I don't care.
Okay, so finish this page for homework. I'll be checking it tomorrow.